Crunch time, where Coach and I go back and forth picking 10 games from the football slate. As you can see, I'm off to a rough start this year. Coach is decidedly average. Both of us were, well, actually, you were 6-4 last week. I was 4-6. However, we have a new slate this week. Coach, are you ready?
Iceman, we have a long ways to go. Plenty of time for you to get that record right. But ready for this week? Let's fire it up, my friend.
Yes, let's go. So number 24, the Fighting Illini, traveling to number 22 in Lincoln, Nebraska. And was it Dylan Raiola, Patrick Mahomes, whatever his name is on the Cornhuskers. This is a battle of who is here and who has arrived. The Cornhuskers are 7.5-point favorites at home. And as much as I would love to pick the upset here, I've been doing that a lot. I'm going to take the Cornhuskers because I think they're at home. I think they're charged, and I think they're just a better football team.
I think Nebraska is really good. I think they have a lot of things going in their favor, but it's still a little early in their tenure as a resurging program. So I'm going to take the Illini, not necessarily to win, but to cover the 7.5.
Lincoln Riley and the 11th-ranked Trojans travel to the Big House to face Sherrone Moore and number 18 Michigan. Now, on paper, if you look at the rankings, this looks like the kind of matchup that you'd want to watch. USC is only a 5-point favorite on the road at the Big House. It's a tough place to play. We all know this. Both of us know that Michigan is not that team. However, if they're going to prove that they are that team, this is the game to do it. I do like the Trojans here because I think Lincoln Riley has the boys rolling.
Yeah, we'll see what Sherrone Moore is made of. We'll see if he's learned anything through these first few weeks of his tenure as the head coach at Michigan. Change at the quarterback position, which will be interesting. That does create some game planning challenges for USC. And for that reason, much like the game prior, I'm going to take Michigan to cover, but not necessarily win.
And what could be the game of the weekend, especially in the Big 12, number 13 Utah traveling to number 14 Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy and the boys have had some big wins so far. This is a battle of two very old quarterbacks by today's standards. Both of them are older than the quarterbacks who started in the Colts-Green Bay Packers game this past weekend. Utah is a 2-point favorite on the road. Oklahoma State, though, I feel like they're at home. They've got a little bit of an advantage, though. Utah is a very, very good football team, so I can see this being a very close game. Give me the Utes to edge them out.
So, yeah, I feel like these two programs over the last several seasons have been, right on the cusp of being in that playoff conversation, but it seems like they trip up against usually a lesser opponent in most cases, which knocks them out of contention. But in this case, going to Stillwater, it's going to be a tough place to play. They're going to be fired up. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win outright.
Number 6, the Tennessee Volunteers traveling to Oklahoma. So this is an interesting game because Josh Heupel is returning to the promised land in Oklahoma. Tennessee is a 7-point favorite on the road. They have looked awfully impressive, especially this past weekend against Kent State. They're fast, they are good, and I just think the Volunteers have a little bit too much firepower. So you know what? Give me the Volunteers to take it here.
Tennessee is really good. They may be the third best team in the SEC, and the margin between the top three I don't think is that great. But I feel like there's definitely more distractions around Tennessee and Heupel's return to Oklahoma than there is around the Oklahoma program itself. And for that reason, Boomer Sooner to cover the 7.
In what is no doubt going to be an upset special, Rutgers traveling to Blacksburg to face the Hokies and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech only a 3.5-point favorite at home. So the Big Ten is coming to Blacksburg. This is one of those gritty games that I know Coach really, really likes. I think it's Greg Schiano and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They are gritty, and they have resurged a little bit in the Big Ten, although they're going to get completely drowned out in what is a very, very top-heavy Big Ten. Virginia Tech starting slow, ending fast. This one makes me nervous. I'm going to pick Rutgers in the upset here.
You know, Iceman, I think this is an interesting matchup. Like you mentioned, we got some grittiness on the Rutgers side. Virginia Tech still trying to figure a few things out with their slow starts. I think I'm with you. Give me the Scarlet Knights to cover the spread.
Hurts my heart. Switching to the NFL, the Houston Texans traveling to Minnesota to face the surprising 2-0 Minnesota Vikings. The Texans are 2-point favorites on the road. Sam Darnold has looked awfully good, but he did this a couple of years ago in Carolina, and then things sort of petered out. If Justin Jefferson plays, I think at home the Vikings have an advantage here. CJ Stroud, this is going to be a really, really tough environment for him to play in. You know what? Skol, give me the Vikings at home.
I do think despite the challenges that Sam Darnold has faced in his career, the experience will certainly play into this game with CJ Stroud being a young guy going on the road to a tough environment. But nonetheless, I'm going to take the Texans to cover.
And what is going to be the most talked about game of the weekend, Nick Sirianni and the Eagles, who are much maligned right now, traveling to another surprising 2-0 team, the New Orleans Saints and Derek Carr. The Saints are 2.5-point favorites at home. Thing is, they've scored 40 plus points in both of their games. I don't think that is going to hold here because I think the Eagles have probably one of the better defenses that they're going to have faced so far. This one's a really, really tough one. I feel like the Eagles could very possibly be on a downturn. So I'm actually going to take the Saints at home because New Orleans, one of the better places to play in the NFL.
I think we're going to learn a lot about both teams based on the outcome of this game. A lot of people think that the Eagles are very good. They had, there's some high expectations with them coming into the season despite some of the controversy surrounding the club. And then the Saints, everybody had kind of written them off before the season even started. And, kind of assumed there would be a coaching change there sometime, maybe even mid-season. They thought things would go that bad. But they've showed out in the first few weeks. Been a lot of noise around the Eagles this week. So I'm with you, Iceman. Give me the Saints to cover the spread.
Both 2-0 teams, the Chargers at the Steelers. I do not know how Mike Tomlin is doing this, and would you be surprised to know that the Steelers are 1.5-point favorites at home against the Los Angeles Chargers? Now, the Chargers have not looked to me very exciting because I think they're taking on the identity of a Jim Harbaugh Michigan team, but they got Justin Herbert. And I think if you're going quarterback versus quarterback, the Chargers have the firepower there, so I'm going to take the Chargers to take the win on the road.
Yeah, these are two very fundamental head coaches, and I think that all things are sort of created equal in terms of fundamental teams that are going to stick to, let's run the football, bend don't break on defense, and I think it comes down to the quarterback position, like you said, and so give me the Chargers.
The Baltimore Ravens, 0-2, traveling to Dallas to face Jerry and the boys. Now, this is probably going to be potentially the best game of the weekend. The Ravens are 1-point favorites on the road at Jerry World. This was a tough one because the Ravens lost the heartbreaker to the Raiders. You feel like they should be at least 1-1, if not 2-0, the way that their season has started. The Cowboys just got blown out, so they're not going to be caught by surprise here. As much as I hate to say that the Ravens are going to go 0-3, I feel like the Cowboys are at home, and they're not going to look that bad 2 games in a row. So give me the Cowboys to win at home.
This is a game of who wants it or needs it more. Both of these teams desperate for a win, especially over what is supposed to be a good opponent. And this is a real tough one to pick, man. Obviously, seeing the -1 spread, it's basically a coin flip here. I just don't think that the Ravens can fall to 3-0. I think they're too talented, too well coached. I give the Ravens the edge.
Obviously, you meant 0-3 there. And last, but certainly not least, the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to, as UB would say, the Fortress of Solitude in Atlanta. So the Falcons just came off a very, very exciting win on Monday Night Football against Philadelphia at Philadelphia. Kirk Cousins has to be feeling pretty good, although I'm not going to lie to you, he still doesn't look as strong as he has. He's lost a little bit on his fastball. Mahomes is coming in after getting what is considered a lucky call by many. The Chiefs are very talented. They can stretch the field now again. They're going to be playing on the road, so I feel like this one's going to be close. So give me the Falcons to actually keep it close.
So Kirk has a chance here. This is the second primetime game in a row. He kind of starting to shake the monkey off his back a little bit, with primetime Kirk. If he goes out and gets his W, I think that we, especially with the Chiefs, I think we could say that the narrative may be shifting. I'm rooting for Cole's Kirk, buddy, to get it done in Atlanta over the Chiefs. Give me the Falcons to win outright.
And there you have it, our picks for those 10 games. Who do you have? Let us know. Contact us 703-718-6314 or let us know in the comments if you are watching on YouTube. Have fun, everybody. Enjoy your football.